Hey guys, Rusty here, back on that GMC. So I decided not to take the 600 off my Camaro. I'm just gonna use the 750 and I'll put this cap and a coil that I had from a previous owner, but I'll maintain the cost that I had given you whenever I said 800 bucks for a carburetor and a distributor and wires. I haven't bought the wires yet. And I think I will buy wires because these wires look a little wrong to me. You know, I'm not a super fan of these style of wires, but I can check them and see if they're all working. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch that carburetor over. And I bought some more parts. Bear with me. I was working on my motorcycle and the lawnmower, you can see over there. So I bought parts for everything. So WD-40, $4.69. We're gonna add that to our cost. And I got the brass T, right? Because we're going to connect the two gas tanks together. So where is that? That is $9.99. And then I got two carburetor gaskets, also $9.99. Oh, I'm sorry, that was $13.99 for the T, and $9.99 each for each of the what's it called? Gaskets. So we're sitting at $44.53. And I'm gonna add those costs in and I'll give it to you at the end of the video. Don't have a calculator on me, I wouldn't wanna get it wrong. And what's next is we're gonna get under there and assess the fuel delivery issue here. I'm gonna disconnect the fuel selector valve and I'm just gonna put a brass T in there. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in case you don't know or you forgot. So up under here, this is the fuel selector valve. So I hit the switch, I switch from left tank or right tank, etc. Well, this truck happens to have two saddle tanks. One here and one over here. Yeah, there you go. Now the lighting is accepted the change. And they both terminate at the same distance. It's essentially the same tank, just a mirror image, right? So if I put a T in place, it should work just fine. We wouldn't have too much cross, you know, it's gonna have some cross flow, but it's not gonna overflow one tank from the other tank. Like my Ford, she has a rear tank that's all the way in the back and then a saddle tank on the left, and both gas doors are on one side, right? On the Chevrolet and GMC, they have a gas door here on the passenger side, and they have a gas door on the driver's side. And if I have these two tanks connected, what I'll be able to do is fuel up from either side. Let's see if it smells like gas. I smell nothing. So we're gonna have to check them tanks. Maybe they're both empty. What would be the luck there? In any event, we're gonna connect them to each other and drain whatever's in there, flush it out, and then put some fuel in and see what happens. That one smells a little bit like gas, actually. So I'll document the footage. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get under and disconnect that selector. I'll probably put some vice grips on the lines, and then I'm gonna connect the two together and then run one line under to go to the fuel gauge here. And I'll probably have to go to AutoZone and order me a fuel pump. I don't think a small block fuel pump's gonna work since this truck has quite a large line for fuel running up to it. My guess is that that fuel pump that was meant to supply this 454 might be a different fuel pump than the one for the 350, but I could be wrong. But I'll pay the price and I think it will be fine. Put 2 gallons on each tank. I'll show you what I got going on. I reckon I've used 4 feet of fuel line now. Oh, we got a little bit of a fuel leak right here, which is a good sign. That means there's some fuel coming through, right? Same thing here. Maybe I need to tighten these a little more. In any event, there you go. 2 lines. I picked the 2 biggest ones. I assume those were the ones that were the fuel delivery, and the other ones being returned. Could be wrong. Put my T direct into the fuel pump. I don't have a fuel filter right now. I forgot to buy one. So, oh no, look, that bolt's loose right there. Or, I mean, missing. We're gonna have to fix that right here too. So, and no bolts right here. This transmission is just freewheeling. Well, we got bolts on that side, but we need to address that before we go on a road trip. Is it bolted up here? Okay, well, it's at least bolted on the top, but since this one's not bolted to this can still move, which means this whole transmission and everything can jerk around. So we don't want that. I need to put some bolts in at least that I have here and then buy some. So go ahead and add that to the cost. Well, I'm gonna get out from under here and we're gonna turn on the fuel pump and see what happens. I'm also going to tighten up these clamps real quick. As before, I'm gonna go ahead and crank this baby, and let's see if we get any fuel pressure. Come on, fuel pump. Is it doing it? Shaking the truck a little bit. Might have to backfeed it to get it a prime, right? Nothing. All right. We'll disconnect the fuel line up here and we'll pour some gas down it. Okay, as it turns out, I got gas up here now. See, as it turns out, it was too low to catch a prime, and so I ended up putting another gallon in there. I need to put the rest of what's in here, and the fuel that's coming out is pretty brownish reddish looking. So I think the tanks were pretty empty, which is good. I do need to go and get some fuel filters, but I am gonna turn this baby over, see if it'll start, and see if we're gonna build fuel pressure, and then I'll go back, I'll get some gas, and I'll get some fuel filters and some hose clamps, and then we'll come back and install that stuff. But hey, let's take our small win here where we can get it. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the fuel pump, see if it gets pressure now. Yeah, we got about 2.5. I don't know if that's going to show up on camera, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to crank this thing and see if it starts and doesn't keep cranking, because that's our new problem. And if it does, I'm going to have the wrench standing by to shut it down. Got the ratchet for the right size here. Got that. Alright, I'm going to crank it and see if it'll run on this old nasty gas. I'm thinking it might. Move my cords out of the way. Low compression engine, remember? My fuel pressure went to 0. Now it's back up a little. So it is running off its own tank. So that's a win. But we need to go get a fuel filter and some hose clamps. And I'll come back and show you getting that installed. I returned triumphant. Got me 2 fuel filters. You know the ones. 3/8 clear. We don't need that cap. And got the little hose clamps too. And our total is $21.21. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that to my parts price list. $21.21, and I'm gonna add 4 feet of fuel line at $5 a foot roughly. I don't really know what it costs. So we're gonna say $20 for the fuel line. And now I'm going to go ahead and install that. Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna get to the carburetor and the cap yet, but we want it to be running so I can drive this bad baby around the block, you know what I mean? So, I got my truck here, and I'm gonna clamp off one of the fuel tanks because I was thinking about it, and they're not gonna cross fuel anyways. We're gonna get that fuel filter installed. I'm gonna clamp off the driver side tank and just run on that passenger side because that's the one that seemed like it actually wanted to work. And we'll see if we can get it to run stable, and then maybe I can test drive it around the block or something. So I'll bring you back once I got those filter and the fuel filled up and all that, and see if we can't get this baby running and go for a little drive around the block. Make sure it hits all the gears before I get too invested. Damn. Okay, let's power this baby up. See if she's going to make any fuel pressure just without doing anything. And then I'll show you what I got going on down there. And nothing yet. Let me show you what we got working down here anyways. Then I'm gonna have to prime up that pump. There we go. And I got the driver side tank clamped off here. I'll have to install some fuel valves, but I think we got to prime this baby up. So I'll bring you back once that's going. Old air in the rag on the tank technique. Got some gas blown out through here, and we're making like 1 psi. So what I'm going to do is get it started, get it sucking some fuel, and got the belt dressing spray right there. And we'll see if we can't get that pressure to come up. Well, ran it out of fuel earlier. That's better. We're not sucking any fuel though. This thing just isn't working, guys. I think that pump is done. I disconnected it from the bottom, and it's only pushing a drizzle of gas out. That's it. That's not gonna do it, guys. That won't be able to run a 454. I'm gonna try to push some more through the line, but Well guys, my GoPro battery left the chat. So let me find some proper lighting. My GoPro battery, she's done, it's swollen on the sides and the GoPro just stopped working. I don't know if you can tell. Oh, there we go. You could probably tell. Anyways, I installed the mechanical fuel pump on this thing, and it was from a small block Chevy, and it didn't work. And I read that maybe they don't work, so we're not going to count that cost. But at least there's something plugging the hole up now. There might have been a problem with the cam or that little shaft or what have you, preventing that from working anyways. And I filled the carburetor up a couple of times, and I've checked the flow on that electric fuel pump, and it's just not working anymore. So I think what I need to do is just buy another one and splice it in there and call it a day. But I did end up spending about $10 more on fuel hose. I moved the pressure gauge up here where it would tell me the pressure with the mechanical fuel pump. Anyways, we're gonna head to the store and get an electric fuel pump and put it in place of that other electric fuel pump, and we'll probably be good to go. I'm hoping. The engine sounds healthy. The belts squeal like a banshee. That'll be the next thing. But hey, we can only do one thing at a time here, apparently. So I'm gonna go ahead and head off to the store and get electric fuel pump and then install it. And it's already like 6 o'clock, so there's not gonna be any installation of the Holly today. It might be the next day. The GoPro, she's done, but we'll see if I can still record things without the battery in it and just running the cord straight to the power. It might be an option, but I'll bring you back when I got the electric fuel pump installed. Alright guys, we got her. This one's supposedly 4 to 7 psi at 38 gallons per hour. We'll find out about that. Gonna go ahead and get it installed, and then I think we're gonna be good to go. And I'll go ahead and tally up the cost of everything for you. You know, I got it written down here, but we're gonna have to add electric pump at $62.99. She's getting expensive, but that's the way these things go. You keep replacing parts, and before you know it, you have a reliable vehicle because you already found all the bad stuff. I can't tell you how many vehicles I've seen that people have given up on because of fuel issues. And yeah, fuel is a pain, but you know, it's not the end. I'm kind of glad that it's fuel problems, actually, because that means it most likely wasn't an engine problem. People just get frustrated, they get tired of messing with it, and then they give up. And that's where I step in, or that's where you can step in. So let's go ahead and get this fuel pump on before it gets dark, and hopefully we can test drive this thing around the block. That's my main goal for today. Okay, I got that electric fuel pump installed. I don't know if you'll be able to see the gauge from there, but I'm going to turn the key on and see if it brings pressure. Oh yeah, that was easy. Sitting on 4.5 and rising. I'm going to go ahead and move all this stuff off of the truck and turn it on. And I got my earplugs in because I don't want to hear it wailing like a banshee. I'm sorry for your ears. Hopefully it'll stop after it runs a while, but we'll see. I'm going to let it run for a while. If it starts, we'll see what happens. Seems like we killed the battery. I'm going to go ahead and put the battery charger on it, and I'll bring you back when it's running. I've had the battery charger on this baby for a couple of minutes. Gonna crank it and see if it'll start. Fuel pressure's holding, which is great, in case you were wondering. So, gonna go ahead and crank it. Sorry for the belt squealing if you happen to hear that, and we'll see what happens. Well, she didn't quite run good enough to take her around the block. I just took it up the driveway a little bit, and seems like it got some serious timing issues. So I got two disconnected already, and it's basically the same. So check that out. The difference. I hope that comes out on camera. The oil's making good fire. And then I got this one disconnected. And it didn't make a difference when I plugged it in. So we need new spark plugs next. So next up I'll get new spark plugs. I'm not even going to bother with the rest because that's obviously the next problem. So we're going to pull the plugs, get the right ones in, and we'll go from there. But at least it's running now. Alright, that's pretty funny. I had at least two of them disconnected and it was running the same. So we're never going to get any good performance if we don't have good wires and plugs. So that'll be my next little purchase. And since I'm going to do plugs and wires, I'll go ahead and change that cap. I'll leave this carburetor on here for now. That way it can eat all that bad gas and I don't have to run it through my Holly. And you know, once this thing's running as good as it can run with that carburetor, then we'll move it over. Now the temperature gauge said 210, and listen to this. I don't think that cap's any good, so we're gonna have to go ahead and get a new radiator cap too. Let me get that air compressor. So that's going to be it for this video. I've made some serious progress here at least. So like and subscribe, follow me along, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm going to get the price for you right now of what I got in it total, and then that'll be the end of this one. Thank you. Alright guys, we got 4612 in it. Now 4612 is accounting for this carburetor and this cap and new plugs and wires, because I was going to take them from my Camaro, but I haven't fully determined if that Camaro engine's dead, so that is in the cost already. So that was from before when I said $800 for the carburetor, the distributor cap, plugs and wires. I think that was on the second video. So we're going to get some plugs and wires and a radiator cap, which we will add to the cost. But as it stands right now, it's not too bad. We're under 5,000. I'll probably be able to get tires, and I'll be a little over $5,000, and we'll have a vehicle that runs good. 461216. 461216. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and catch me on the next one.